Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here today. This is your one-stop shop for cryptocurrency analysis, among other things. Now we're taking a look at Shiba Inu. And this is unusual because I don't typically like to cover coins like this. Meme coins are not really my thing, but I have had a large group of folks in my Telegram community and just generally my Patreon subscribers asking that I cover this because a lot of people are invested in it, right? So I just want to make sure to look at the technical charts. There's no fundamentals here. And of course, we'll take a look at that here in a moment. Before we do, just know I'm not a financial advisor. This is always for educational purposes only. You should do your own research. Furthermore, I have years of trading experience. My goal is to help you become a better trader. So if nothing else, you can actually disseminate some type of best practice from this video to ensure that you are better, at trading moving forward. Because I want to teach you to trade for a lifetime, not just for one day. Now, in regard to my Signal group, I get a lot of requests for that as well. I will have that rolled out within about a week or so here. I'm just getting all the last minute things taken care of because I want to make sure to have this be the best opportunity for you. But I'll provide you with 3 to 5 good signals per week that you can likely invest in. Kind of join me in my trading style, and essentially, hopefully, find the not take your whole time, your whole day trying to find these good entry points. Let me do that for you, right? So that'll be available through my premium Patreon account soon. Probably within the next week or two tops. Promise it's going to be before month end. So thanks again for your patience there. I appreciate that. If you're interested in $25 in Bitcoin from Voyager, link in the description below. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right in. All right, folks, let's go ahead and take a quick look at Shiba Inu. And this is, again, a large request for my community. That's the main reason I'm covering it here. Typically don't like to cover coins like this, but, really, I'm just here for the technicals, and that's all we're going to do. So we look at Bitcoin and Ethereum first to get a baseline on the market before we get started. So if you're new to the channel, we'll always take a look at that first. So why don't we go ahead and just jump right in. Now, when it comes to Bitcoin, we're looking at the 4-hour chart. I always like to look at the 4-hour chart because the moving averages are the most effective. I use the 200 and the 50-day simple moving average. Now, the price is over the 200-day moving average right now, presently, and it's hovering right around 40,000. And we are in this channel of 40 to 42,000 right now. So the hope is that the price increases past 41 and jumps past 42 and continues skyward until we all recover our losses. And the same thing as well, we got a strong support at 30,000, comes down that low, we may be in a bucket of trouble again, but we'll see what happens. RSI is not overextended right now. We're still in good shape, so there could be more movement without any retracement here in the near future. So we're looking pretty good. All in all, not too bad. Okay, so let's look at Ethereum next. Now, Ethereum is also performing similarly to Bitcoin. I keep mentioning that. Obviously, it's not doing as well as Bitcoin is right now, but the price is over the 50-day moving average and under the 200. So once we surpass the 200 and exceed this $2,900 major resistance level that has been tested almost 10 times, then we'll be in pretty good shape to see Ethereum take off. All right. So that is kind of the goal there and the hope for Ethereum. And RSI is still pretty low, all things considered. So, looking pretty decent right now for Ethereum. All right. So next up is Shiba. So let's go ahead and take a look at this here. And, just to note, this is, again, I'm using the Binance Shiba Inu here. So that's where you see, because it was introduced on May 10th. So it's only really had about a month or so, maybe 5 weeks worth of market data. Okay. So let's go ahead and take a look at the 1-day chart first, because I always look at that first just to kind of see what's going on in the market. And as you can tell, first day was kind of a crazy weird day that typically happens, right? The ICO. At least I presume that's what occurred. Correct me if I'm wrong, but if it wasn't an ICO, who knows, right? So 255% in 1 day. That was an increase in 255. The following day, obviously, we saw some retracement. And coincidentally, May 12th, 2 days after it hit the market, we had the wonderful Elon candle. Yeah, thank you, Tesla, for that wonderful decrease in price. I'm sure a lot of people love that. And then furthermore, Bitcoin was withdrawn from the banking industry over in China on the 18th and 19th. We see that here as well. And then ever since then, it's been pretty steady around, and I'll just say this because I don't want to say 1/10,000th of a cent. We're just going to say 5.4 up to 7.3. So it's been ranging in that small range, hit a low of about 5.4, and right now it's right at about 7.1 or 71, I guess you could say. Not sure how to say that correctly, but you get the idea. And that is the one-day chart. Not much else to disseminate. The moving averages haven't caught up yet because we don't have enough trading data on the one-day chart. And as you can tell, RSI is super low because it finally caught up, and it caught up after the retracement, which is pretty standard. So again, buyer's market right now, based on what I see here so far, doesn't necessarily mean you have to just jump right in, but on the same accord, how could it get much lower, right? Again, pending Bitcoin going sideways or increasing, we should expect to see Shiba Inu increase as well. Again, this is just the technicals. I don't really worry about the fundamentals in most cases, so just please keep that in mind. Another reason why I don't usually like cover Doge or Shiba, these coins that are essentially meme coins, because fundamentals is a big part of making investment, right? So there's not really much fundamental data here, but just based on technicals alone, that's what we're looking at, right? Now for the 4-hour chart, we do have a little more data. The 200 is finally catching up. So as you can see, the 200 is up around 98, whereas the price action is presently at about 73. So that being said, we've got a major support level now from the 50-day moving average that is below. So we're above one milestone here, but we still got a big second to come, because the 200-day moving average is notoriously the strongest moving average that most industry standards are following, right? So we want to kind of follow what they follow and jump on the bandwagon with them. And that usually works as a major resistance level, so you commonly see a lot of price action above or below the 200. The RSI is still in pretty good shape, all in all. Fairly low considering the price action recently, but that's because the price was driven down so low previously to hit its all-time low at about, was it 52, 55, 53, somewhere in that range? So all in all, that's kind of what we're looking at there. And then we got the 1-hour chart. I like to turn these off and get the cloud on here for Ichimoku. And as you can tell, like, big surprise almost always happens this way. When it breaks out of the cloud, it breaks really hard and really fast. Oftentimes, you'll see support and resistance lines broken the same way. But that is essentially what happens. So now that we're above the cloud, it is essentially considered a buy signal, right? Now, it doesn't necessarily mean we have to just jump right in because of that, but oftentimes when the price is above the cloud, it's a buy signal to go long. And when it's under the cloud, it's a sell signal to go short. Within the cloud is a no buy zone. So you don't buy when it's in the cloud. But again, as soon as it breaks above, considered a buy signal. And as you can see, it's been getting hammered. For the most part, it's been a sell signal pretty much the entire time. So again, just something to note there on the 1-hour chart. Let's go ahead and take a look at the 15. And I like to enable my EMA and VWAP lines. And I've actually got a really awesome associate, I guess you could say. His name is Erever, and he is fantastic. And this guy helped me create an indication, a notification when the price is above EMA and VWAP line, it closes in 2 solid green bars. So I don't know if you can see these little yellow lines. Those are indication of the fact that that is a potential entry point, because the price action is closing above those 2 lines with 2 solid green bars. And then we see the purple up here. If you can see that a little bit closer, that tells us it's a sell signal potentially because the RSI is up over 70. In other words, just we want to pay attention to it. So that is pretty awesome. So thank you, Erever. You're fantastic. Really good group of folks. I tell you what, my community is just awesome. So you're all highly valued, and I thank you for just all of your contributions. That goes to my Telegram community, my Patreon community, everyone, all of the above. Thank you. Either way, let's go ahead and take a look at the 15 here. Now, looking at the 15, as we can see with the VWAP and the EMA, first of all, to specify, if you haven't already been familiar with my channel, the VWAP line is this blue line here. That's the volume weighted average price. It takes the volume of the last 24 hours and expresses it as a price. The red line here is essentially a EMA line. That's an exponential moving average. It's a similar line you're going to find on a moving average convergence divergence, a MACD. They use exponential moving averages. They're better on shorter time frames, which is why you see them more effective on shorter time frames. But what it does, it takes the 12 and the 26 and essentially converges and diverges, and that gives us buy and sell signals. Well, the MACD is very similar to the EMA in the sense that the EMA, though, is kind of working with the price instead of as a separate oscillator. So I like it because when the price is above, it works as a support, and when it's below, it essentially works as a resistance, or essentially bullish versus bearish sentiment. Okay, So I like to look at that here. Now, when we're looking at this point here, because Shiba did increase back here as I marked, that was right when it came above the cloud right here. And you can see, look at this here, big coincidence, the price action is above EMA and VWAP lines. And you can see this indicator told us that both the EMA and the VWAP lines were tested and held above, and the price action broke above. So this would have been a good entry point, right? So if we take a look here, correction, sorry, clicked the wrong thing. When we take a look here, right, when we got the actual price action moving, this would have been a good buy signal, right? So based on my indication, my 2 solid green bars above EMA and VWAP, I got a buy signal right here. Coincidentally, the Ishimoku cloud on the 1-hour chart also gave us a buy signal right here. So that's fantastic. So kind of confirming the fact that those two things work very well together, and that it's important to maybe adopt that philosophy. All right, so had you take an entry here and come up and perhaps consider an exit point, even to say right here, you would have netted yourself a decent position. What that's 5% if you were to just come up and sell when the RSI comes back down under 70. Okay, which is usually something that I like to do personally. So that's, again, something to consider. But as you can tell here, you see this red EMA line. You see how the price comes up, bounces right here, tries to come down again, and essentially bounces a second time. That's just an indication of a bull market or a bullish trend right there. Okay, so you want to pay attention to that. And the thing that you see here, this is a state of consolidation. So anytime you see the price action, excuse me, come up like it did, and then kind of retrace, because oftentimes when the price comes up over 70, it has to kind of correct itself. There's going to be a short period of consolidation afterwards. So oftentimes when you see the price action in this range here, it can be difficult to find a good entry, because yes, we're getting some buy signals here, 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 and here. They're not necessarily, the best, right? I mean, obviously it helps if you were to be in that position, you take a position here and the price comes up here eventually. But if you want to sit here and wait and watch this the whole time, it can be difficult, which is why you set, stop limits and stop orders and such. But, if you have a good risk tolerance, that will help save you in this case, because just say you took entry back here and you continue to, ride this wave, you'd want to move up your stop limit to essentially, sell your position if it comes down by a certain amount. And a lot of times a good percent is like a 3-to-1 ratio, right? So if you're going to shoot for 3% gains, you got to be okay with a 1% loss. That's kind of my general concept or how I do it. But what I'd recommend doing is something like that, discover your own risk tolerance with paper trading and see kind of what that looks like. And then, honor that, right? So if we get, just say you're in a position right here where you take an entry back here and your price comes up here and you're going to just let it ride, move your sell stop up to this area. So that way, if you get stopped out, you're still in the green, you still take your 5%. Okay. Again, just little things to think about. But, as far as my prediction here for Shiba Inu, I mean, again, all fundamentals aside, regardless of it being a meme coin, the technical charts are telling us that it has more propensity for increasing over the near future. Okay, so I mean, if we just look at the 1-day chart alone, I mean, it is extremely low right now. So, I mean, to me personally, how much lower can it go? You also do need to understand, though, that the moving averages, right? We are above the 50, but we're still under the 200. So if you're going to take entry, be mindful of how the price action responds to the 200-day moving average, and consider that when we get closer. Okay, but we do have some pretty decent milestones. We're up over the 50. We have some momentum. We're still under RSI, 70 on the 4-hour chart, which is fantastic. And on the 15 here, we are indicating that there is somewhat of a bullish trend, right? So these are all good things, but again, RSI just picked up over 70. It might be retracing itself back down, so we'll see what happens there. In fact, let's just take a look at the 1-minute chart and see what's going on. And you see these funny little lines here? That tells us that there's a unique amount of volume. So oftentimes with lower volume, you get that kind of sporadic looking charts. So just be mindful of that too. It's not terrible in the bid-ask spread. I'm sure it's probably just very marginal, but it can be difficult to find good entry points and good exit points with lower volume, right? But that being said, right now, price action is below EMA but above VWAP, so I'd wait to take entry when the price is above the EMA line, right? So I come in, like, if on the 1-minute chart, for example, I like to wait for confirmation. That would be 3 solid green bars above the EMA line. And if you look back here, you can kind of see it too. See, these are 3 solid green bars above the EMA. Now, it can be difficult, again, to find entry in this kind of climate. Just pay attention to that. But that is essentially what I look for. All right. So that being said, I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much for joining me here today. Now, moving forward, I will have a Signal group very soon, within the next week or less. I plan to roll it out next weekend. Furthermore, also, I'm doing live streams on the weekends as well. And I did miss this last weekend. I do apologize for that. So to my community, I apologize. So sorry. I was traveling. Some unexpected things came up. But I do intend on working out a scenario where I'm more consistent with that on the weekends. Okay, and then perhaps even transition that into the weekdays, just so we can get you the best advice, best results possible, keep you up to speed, and to be more effective traders. But thank you so much. I do appreciate you all once more. Hope you have a great rest of your day. We'll see you soon. Take care.